Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pixelship podcast. This is episode 17, I do believe. It's either 16 or 17.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And we just finished the Steam sale. The last day of it was yesterday, so we're going to talk a bit about that.
Sale.
But first of all, let's introduce the crew. We're going to start with Joel
Ahoy!
and Mr. Hayes
I played a lot of video games for once this week.
and Stinky Fingers Blandy.
My stinky fingers have in no way stopped my ability to be stinky.
That they've helped it even.
They've helped.
Right.
That's redundant.
Yeah. Anyway, so we just, like I said, we just finished up the Steam sale, and I would like to start by talking about some of our favorite purchases from that, and pretty much what set it over the edge for us. It's usually going to be price, but sometimes it's something else. All right, guys, let's start with Hayes. What are your purchases during the Steam sale?
I have a lot of goddamn games on Steam. I really did not buy much. I think I only bought two games. Two games on the Steam sale. Three games? Three games on the Steam sale?
I have you down
I
for
bought-
two, but maybe you got another one.
I got, hold on, wait a minute. Steam has a tool for this. I know I got Goat Simulator, because Goat Simulator was something I kind of had an eye on for a while, and I'm like, yeah, that's something I wanted.
I believe that you, myself, and Blandy all picked up Goat Simulator.
It seemed a little pricey at $10. I wasn't super enthusiastic about buying it at $10, but when it went down, I think we ended up paying like $6 or something
yeah,
around
$5.99. It was 40% off.
that seemed just about right. I also picked up. Oh, okay, yeah. I picked up Papers, Please, because I didn't understand how I didn't own that already. Unless I did own it and I bought it again because I have a problem. But I really enjoyed that game. What little I played of it, so I'm probably going to spend a little bit more time. And I also picked up Risk of Rain, which is a 4-player co-op. It's roguelike. It's a game where you play and you die a lot, but the 4-player online co-op seemed really interesting, so it's something I wanted to try. And then a game that I picked up that was not on the Steam sale was Shovel Knight, but I can talk about that later when we talk about the games that I played. That was not on sale. That was actually released the last Friday of the Steam sale, a couple days ago. So.
Right. And what was the price on that one?
$15. It's for Steam, 3DS, and Wii U. It's $15 on all of them.
Oh, okay.
There's no cross-buy or anything, but I had accrued some Steam credit that I hadn't used, so I ended up spending like $7 on Shovel Knight, and so it was like my own personal Steam sale from selling the cards that they kind of throw at your face throughout the sale.
Right. Cool. All right, and Joel, I saw that you picked up some stuff too. What are some highlights of that?
I picked up just a couple things. Picked up System Shock 2.
Yeah, System Shock 2.
I also picked it up.
I never played it before, but
Neither
Ryan
have
Hayes always talks very, very highly of it, and it was $1.50, so I really could pass it up.
It is worth 10, nay, 15 times that price.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we both got it for $1.50.
Yeah. I haven't really played around with it yet, but
That is a game that is best played with the lights off and headphones, old school horror game style.
so like Silent Hill style.
Yeah.
That's not how I play Silent Hill.
No, we have a
Lights
system.
on.
No, we
Someone
do.
touching your feet.
We do lights off, but he cannot have the controller in his hand. That's just how he plays.
I'm the navigator.
Right.
Neil's the driver.
Correct. All right. What else did you pick up, Joel?
My first Hitman game, Absolution.
Absolutely.
Not
Weird
my
place
favorite,
to start, but I'm not gonna
right.
fault you for that.
I mean, it was like $5, so.
Nah, well,
But it was probably like $7.50 for the entire collection.
Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't
Yeah,
really
that's a good
paying that
point.
much attention.
Whatever. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I missed a good portion of the sale, so. I missed like the first 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, but the last day everything was on sale again, man.
That's very true.
Yeah. I looked. I don't know. I didn't really look for any other Hitman games because. Anyway.
You like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
You
cool.
love it. You want some more of it.
Like I've liked what I've played above it. I like that there's a lot of like it's kind of a choose your own adventure sort of deal, but
Definitely.
like live action, you know, like there's
That's
no.
a good way to put it. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
Like,
love
think
I love the buttery smooth controls. That's one thing that I like
yeah,
about it.
they are. It's pretty good. It's
Hitman
pretty
feels good to play.
It really
It's a
does.
very deliberate game.
Yeah.
I picked Beyond Good and Evil, which has been on my list for a while now, my wish list, just because I don't know, I've always heard good things about it. I only put in about maybe an hour and a half so far, and it's interesting. I'm not
It
really
could use
sure.
a patch, do you think?
Yeah, I had to finagle some settings to get like some of the graphics to stop flickering and whatnot.
Does that studio even exist anymore?
Yeah, in 2012 there was announcement of like Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, but that was like a shitty like CG trailer that seemed like a lot of smoke and mirrors. I don't know.
Oh. Okay, well, I have no idea. All I know is I played like an hour and a half. I mean, I guess once I get more into it, I'm not really seeing why it's so underrated yet. Obviously, like I said, I went through like the first big area, so I can't really make any judgment calls there.
You're also playing it, what, 15 years after the game came
Yeah,
out.
This
so-
is also true.
There were
This
not
is-
a lot of games out there. Like this is, I guess Ratchet and Clank. I think is around that era. Jack and Daxter, like when platformers and like third-person adventure games started getting really fucking good. I think it just kind of got lost in the shuffle, and everyone's like, you guys are all playing these Jack and Daxters and all this other stuff, and this is a really good game in that vein. And it also didn't focus a ton on combat like the other games. Not to say there's not combat in that game, but it gets a little bit more involved kind of later on.
It also always seemed kind of like it was more themed towards the 20-somethings in that area and less
Yeah,
it
was a very
the
mature
8-year-olds.
game for its time.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, even from the get-go, I could see that. It's cool that it's like an original sort of thing too. It's not a sequel to anything. It's not based on anything. It's like it's an original story and all that. As far as I know.
It's a decent story too. Yeah, it's
So like that. I mean, I'll definitely get into it. I haven't really had an opportunity lately to get more than an hour and a half into it.
Makes sense.
I also picked up the Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall.
Right, you and I both picked that up, which I'm...
haven't-
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just haven't touched it yet. That's all I was gonna say.
I haven't touched it either. I'm excited
I picked up
to.
Shadowrun. I kept looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadowrun? Shadowrun's amazing.
I still didn't beat the first campaign. I was pretty close to the end.
And
I'm
that's
sure.
why I didn't pick up the DLC, because I still haven't finished it.
I haven't either, but the DLC was, I think it was 70% off, 66%
Yeah.
off, so
Yeah.
I really couldn't see a negative there.
I mean, it's like $20 normally. So
Right.
if-
Oh wow.
I'll definitely play it at some point. So
Right. But it's a lot easier to swallow 7-something than
Yeah.
20.
Agreed.
and
All right.
then my well, I was gifted Final Fantasy VIII, the best Final Fantasy in my opinion, and Risk of Rain
Mm-hmm.
from the Ryans. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And then I
$4.
picked up Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition.
You did, and I also did, and so did 9 other people on my friends list. Like,
Really?
that looked like a lot of people were waiting for that to go on sale.
Was
That game was on my wish list forever.
Well, didn't they like release like a remastered version?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
this is
it's
the
the-
HD version.
It's the Enhanced Edition. It's
Right.
got they basically they took it. I already had the original ones
I
Enhanced
should
Edition.
have picked that up. I didn't
But-
realize that.
They like it's basically all the mods that people were using anyway to make the game better.
Right.
Just programmed into the game, and they added new characters and some like stuff like that. I hear it's still pretty buggy. Like a lot of the bugs from the original game are still in it. But
yeah, well, I mean, I
I haven't heard-
survived with those bugs.
yeah, I haven't heard anything like that where it's like super game breaking or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm gonna pound through the first one again, like at least beat it because I still haven't beaten it. I played through the beginning like 20 hours, like 4 or 5 times, and I've yet to beat it.
Those games are games that you need to play co-op, in my opinion. Don't need to, but I think something's lost playing it solo. I don't know. Just I guess it's probably because I've played them multiplayer.
I've heard the multiplayer is bad though.
Really?
That's just what I was reading. Like I was reading that if you wanted a game to play multiplayer, that this is not the game to pick up.
Well, then, when I would play them, it was always console multiplayer. So maybe the online multiplayer
Well,
is what's terrible.
these also, if you're thinking the console games, these are completely different. Because the console games were like hack and slash sort of RPGs.
Like
Oh,
Dark Alliance.
Right.
Yeah, these are straight up AD&D rules.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Second edition.
I definitely did play the computer ones then, the PC ones as well. But I played those solo. It was I remember now. It had like 6 discs, 6
Yeah,
installed
the
discs with it.
original.
It was insane.
Yeah. It's funny because I have Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2, the original copies, but why am I gonna pass up on cheap HD and like
Right, that you can install by clicking
Exactly.
once, and you don't have to.
and I don't
shuffle
have to worry
through.
about downloading mods and everything to make the game playable or
Right.
at least better.
Functional. Well, that's
well-
how System Shock was for a long time. Is that game was unplayable without patches.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, either way, I think that one is probably the one I really look most forward to at the moment. But like I said, I have to pound through the rest of the first Baldur's Gate. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to play it too. I mean, we've talked a lot about those style of games.
Yeah.
All right, Blandy, what did you pick up? Not very much.
Well, the important thing was Goat Simulator. I wanted to get that.
Mm-hmm.
I also picked up Broken Age.
Mm-hmm.
Was waiting for that.
As
You
did
play
I.
any of Broken Age yet?
No, not yet.
Neither did I. Have you?
Yeah, I finished it.
Well,
I
part
finished.
one. you
It's
finished.
part 1. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you
But
picked
those
up
were the
Gone
big
Home, right?
ones. Yeah, I got Gone Home.
Oh,
I
yeah?
got Payday 2. So little things here and there, but the big things were Broken Age. And
You got to play Gone Home, and I want to hear your impressions of that. I think it's like 3 hours long. It's not a long game.
oh, I also got Surgeon Simulator. That shit is hard.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
everybody knows that.
It's a
That's-
pain in the dick.
That's QWOP of open heart surgery.
Right. Yeah. Nobody wants to play that game. Did you really?
I wanted to
I
play
mean,
it in that
it's
Team
a fun
Fortress
game to dick around.
peoples.
All right.
Team Fortress peoples, and then I was like, all right, let's do this. And then it was hard.
Yeah, like really hard. Okay, cool. So you picked up a few things. Most of them good. I picked up a shitload, but I'll go through some of the highlights, I guess. I got the season pass for BioShock, which I'm pretty stoked about. And
I can't believe you didn't already have that.
no, I had always said that I played that game so intently when it first came out that I always know that I kind of blow my wad early, and then I'm gonna replay it and go through with the extended.
The DLC
Guys.
is pretty good. I bought the season pass. I paid full price and thought it was well worth the money. So getting that on discount, you should be all right.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm completely cool with it. Also, Metro Last Light, they had some kind of huge pack for that too, and that's a game that interested me. I had never
Did
played
you play
it.
the first one?
No.
I played Metro 2033.
Right, I picked it up in the pack, but
2033.
And they're very interesting games, and I don't mean that as like demeaning or anything like that. Like, it is a very interesting world. Like,
right, and that's what it seemed like. It seemed like really a really cool, like immersive environment, and that's what I was. That's the
Yeah.
kind of games that really drive me crazy. That I kind of go nuts for. That's why I liked BioShock so much, and that's why I liked Fallout so much, and
I don't
any
know
of
if
the
the books
Bethesda
are in
games really.
English, but I hear the books are really good too.
Cool. All right, and we've already talked about a lot of them. I picked up Vampire Bloodlines. I guess that's just one of my, I don't know, guilty pleasures when it comes down to it.
That game was fun. I played a little bit of that.
I picked up Tropico 4, which I've been wanting to pick up for a while because I've never played a Tropico game.
It's a lot of fun.
And they look so interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Is
They're
it?
really
Yeah.
pretty.
I've put a lot of time into that game. Like you'll lose time and not even realize it.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's a mark of a good sim.
that is, yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I picked up the Odd Box. Once again, never playing an Odd World game in my
Really?
life. No, I didn't.
Is the odd box on sale?
Yeah,
Well, it
Really?
was.
yeah.
Oh man, I'm a big Oddworld fan. Like I kind of wish I knew that. Is that like a daily deal or something?
Yeah. It was one of the community chests. I think I got the Odd Box for $6.66.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's all the games?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Like I said, I had never played it, but with the reputation, I just
Well
had to
worth it.
kind of pick it up. And oh, okay. The last one that I'll mention is the Saints Row franchise pack. I picked that up.
Awesome. Good call.
So good.
Excellent.
And
call.
it was $18 for the 4 games and all the
Oh.
DLC, which
Absolutely worth it.
right,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
see a world that would not be worth it.
No.
So, all right, well that's what we've picked up. The purchases we've made. In other news on Steam, Ryan tried to rekindle our war on Steam level.
You're a dirty crook.
How
You're
did that?
a dirty crook.
How'd that
What
work
do you guys
out for
even
you?
add anymore? I think I'm at like level 12.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're at level 12. Ryan's at 43. I am at 50 currently.
You're a
Man.
dirty
So this is
little man.
I
so
don't
this
even
is
think
all
I've
from
broken
crafting badges. Like, why? I still don't get the point of
Well-
are these like gamer scores in Xbox or?
No, it's pretty
this
much from
is-
badges.
This is a way for him to make me ticked off.
A little bit. Well, okay. The way that I do it, and this is the way that I do it every single Steam sale. I craft badges in the beginning, and I get the stupid cards that they give you, and then I sell those right away for usually around $1 in the beginning of the sale. So then I buy other cards with that dollar. That, I mean, another badge might cost me 75 cents, and then I get another stupid card and I sell that. So I ended up just coming up on all these cards and just really boosting my level. So yeah, I got to 50 in like a day and a half, and Ryan was at 36, I think, something like that. But he came back. Good for you, buddy. 43. It's nothing to scoff at.
You're a dirty.
You still haven't answered my question. Do these levels afford you anything? Like,
Yeah, well, kind of dumb stuff. Like, the levels will make more cards drop for you, like booster packs will drop while you're playing games, which you can sell those for Steam Cash and turn them into games or more badges. It also gives you friendship slots on your friends list.
Because there's a cap.
Yeah, you have a cap of I think it's 25 friends, or maybe I don't even know. I'm not going to try to guess. You have a cap of friends in the beginning, but then when you raise your level, I think every 10 levels you get 5 more friends, or it might be every level. Ryan, do you know?
Yeah, it's every level.
You
Or no, not every level. Every so you get like a friend increase boost. You also get like little showcases for your
Right.
profile.
Every 10 levels you get another showcase. So like right now Ryan's got an achievement showcase, items up for trade, badge collector, his recent game activity. And those are his showcases that he can have on his profile. So really what it affords you is nothing.
It's
gives-
nothing.
It gives you-
really the ability to just piss Ryan off.
Yeah, that's what
Which
it
I
gives
think is
me.
perfectly valid. I
And
mean, I
that's-
would spend $5. Or
I was the
$10
best. I was the best.
It was short-lived, my friend.
Short-lived for months.
Yeah.
And then suddenly little bastard over here decides, oh, what are these Steam cards?
I snuck in. Yeah. So anyway, that's the haps in there, if anyone even cares, which they
The
don't.
Hatfields and the coins.
Right.
It
And
kind of
I-
is between you guys.
We
I
love.
gotta say though, Ryan, I think Neil gets the best of you most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally.
That's bullcrap.
Yeah, but it's true. But yeah.
It's true.
Okay. Enough about the Steam level. This was a great
how
Steam
about we
sale.
talk something else from Steam called this stupid frickin' game. I had a wish list full of stuff,
Oh, yeah. Well,
and now it's gone.
I only had 3 games in my wish list, and I mean that was strategic for me. Because these are the 3 games that I wanted. It was like Witcher 3, the new Dark Souls, and I can't remember one other one. Doesn't matter. But I was hoping that we'd win. I put a lot of effort into us winning.
Yeah, but only 30 people got it out of 8 million?
There were 8 million per team.
Well, no. I guess 8 million was the peak of their login. So let's say 1 million people a team?
Okay. All right. Well,
Maybe?
yeah, but you only get them if you participate, if you put a point towards it. So
Uh-huh.
I think that the people that were actually contributing points were fairly small. And the people that were contributing points in the level that Ryan and I were, Ryan actually contributed more points than I did, I think.
Yes.
Which I don't understand how, because I bought more games than you and I turned in more badges. So you've got me confounded
I got
there.
little items that stole points. So
And-
I used one of them, and then
Weird.
I got smart, and then I sold the rest.
Yeah.
Because it's a sucker's game.
Yeah, so who wants to explain what ended up happening with the game? With the competition, the team-based competition.
I mean, Steam's got this weird gamification of getting people to buy their shit, and I don't really like it.
Well, yeah.
This doesn't. This is not what I want out of the people holding my, 200 plus video games to do. I want them to sell me my fucking games for cheap, and I just this whole like hat thing and trading card thing still weirds me out. So I try not to pay attention to this shit.
All right. So the way it ended up, they somebody found a loophole in the system and was exploiting it, which usually happens with these kinds of
Sure.
things.
It's a SQL database somewhere, like you can exploit it.
Right. Right. The very, I don't know. It happened with Diablo's Real Money Auction House. It happened with everything that I know of that there's a competition online, especially based in this deep in nerddom that Steam is. They're
Where
going to
all the
exploit it.
nerds are involved in it.
Right. Right. So somebody exploited it. So Steam said to themselves, "Well, the best way to take care of this would just be to make it completely random. Not completely random, but completely fair, I guess, by being unfair. So the amount that you contributed towards it had no bearing upon the actual standards or standings, which ended up pissing off me. Is really all that I was one of 9 people pissed off about this. Didn't really make much waves, but yeah, they set up this competition, and then they laid forth the rules and decided, counter hacking would be too hard. We just are done doing this, and we're going to make it random. And nobody got their games, from what I understand.
Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't what team won was random, but it was what people on that team got the.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, which team won was completely random.
Oh, well, that's bullshit. Because I don't think my team won the entire time that I was on it.
But again, it was 30 people out of that team. So, like, your odds, they maybe gave away 150 games, right, total?
Well, sure, but you also got more. You got more badges dependent upon how much you, not badges, but more cards dependent upon how much you contributed to it, and if your team won. So,
Yes.
I mean,
guess.
there were other perks to it other than just the games. If you care about level, once again, I mean, this is all.
Yeah.
This
it's
is all
their little
assuming that you're a
metagame there.
douchebag, like me. So, but I don't know. It annoyed me. It annoyed me enough to mention it. It probably doesn't interest anyone else. I just don't make the competition if you're not going to do the competition.
Hey,
Yeah.
motherfucker, it's marketing. It's
Yeah, just
not for anyone's benefit but theirs.
Right. I guess that's true. But it really made me stop doing badges later on in the thing, because I was doing one a day just to get
get
the
on there.
right, just to get on there, so contribute something, get the cards again.
You should join the fuck it team where we don't care and we just sell the cards and then we get cheap games.
Well, the second that Ryan didn't care about this, I'm not going to be contributing to the Steam level thing again. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we played. We talked about it a little bit already when we were talking about what we bought. But let's go around the table. Let's start with you, Joel. What have you played?
Well, I mean, like I said, I played Hitman for a while, actually. I was kind of getting into it. It's a cool game. Played, Beyond Good and Evil, and I played WildStar. And
Still going strong with
Yeah,
them?
I want to hear. I want to hear
Absolutely.
more. What do you have to say about WildStar now after playing it for a while?
Well, it's actually almost been a month now that I think about it, but I still love it. And I actually convinced a friend of mine from like North Carolina to hop in on it too. So I was pretty amped about that. But I don't know, it's fun. I like that it's still hard. Some of it
It's still hard
yeah, it's still hard. Why would it not still be hard?
because now you got to be like super high level.
Yeah, but you go to different areas when you
I'm not super high level yet. I think I'm 25 out of 50.
in a month.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the past couple weeks I haven't really had the time to
Oh,
sit
true,
down
true.
and play too much. But I mean, when I get time to play, that's usually what I've been playing. I did my first like couple dungeons, and I got pretty lucky with the groups I went. I went in with random groups, pickup groups, and there's it's hit or miss because the dungeons are actually difficult, like they were originally in WoW. They weren't just kind of like show up with 5 random people and walk through it in about 10 minutes without anybody dying or even probably getting hurt. But now
How's the
it's
community?
Yeah, I want to hear about the community too. Yeah.
I
Agreed.
it seems pretty vibrant. I
Like,
know there's-
are people really kind of down for like pickup games? Like, is it you kind of have to have a couple friends?
Okay, people are. I mean, the tolerance for pickup groups changes depending on the person. Obviously, I think for the most part, the pickup groups are pretty decent. I mean, at least like attitude-wise, the ones that I've been in.
Attitude.
Yeah, because I mean, you'll get people who like, everybody wipes once on a boss, and it's this is fucking stupid, and it'll just leave.
Right.
And like people like that, I don't care. Like they can quit the game for all I give a fuck. Like screw them. But like when I did the dungeon stuff, the groups are good. Like, and I guess I got really lucky too because like there was always at least one person who knew the dungeon really well and could walk everyone through it and was willing to do that. And like those are the kind of people that make a game good and great and helps new people like get acclimated to it and increase the longevity of the game, as opposed to the elitists who hop in and are like, like, oh, this is your first time, kicked, And I haven't
I
really
feel like that's the advantage though of these kind of MMOs that are trying to dethrone or at least become a viable platform. Like the community, at least from what I've been hearing, feels a sense of responsibility to make sure that people have a good time playing this game. Like people want this to succeed. I feel that you heard a lot of that in Star Wars Galaxy. Like the community was, there's always shitty people and shitty parts of those games, but as a whole, like there's been a couple of these MMOs where everyone's like, look, man, if we want this game to be around, like we all kind of have to pitch in and make it a fun experience for everyone.
Agreed.
It seems like not only that, but this game has been around for a month. No one has played it more than a month. So a sense of elitism is probably fairly low in a game that everybody's going into without.
You would be surprised.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard and it's actually mainly a design thing, and it's only once you hit level 50, and it has to do with the veteran dungeons and the medal system around the dungeons.
Okay.
I've heard there's a lot of issues because most people want to get gold, and the reason they want to get gold in those dungeons for the medals is that I think the item drops are better. So like you'll get a higher quality item than you would if you got a silver medal or a bronze medal or no medal at all. So if people, for an instant, think like if somebody dies in a boss fight, because the gold standards are pretty tight from what I've understood, and if somebody dies in a boss fight, like everyone will just quit because they're like, oh, we're not going to gold. What's the point? And I think it's really just it's a design issue, and it's something that, as far as I could tell, I think there was mention of Carbine looking into the risk reward sort of thing with the whole dungeon experience in the late game, and
Well,
it had to do with that.
I mean that's kind of how it is when you reach that when you reach the cap, you're really only farming for items.
Right,
So,
Mm.
I mean,
and
it
that's what
makes sense that they would drop right away.
I mean. Like it's a design issue. It's not an issue. Like it's not a community issue so much as it is a design issue.
Right.
Like I think they need to look at how their medal system, like maybe changing, like, I don't know, changing it from like the item drops increases to like maybe like renown or reputation increases or something like that. Like just changing what the actual gold medal
Accomplishes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's. I mean, I don't. At this point, I'm hoping they change it before I get to 50, so that when I hit that point, I'm not like hopping into a dungeon for the first time and everyone's like, freaking out. But I think the other part of that too is that's when, like, when you want to do that stuff, like the level 50 veteran dungeon stuff, that's when you need a solid group of people to do it. Like that's at the point where you got to kind of get away from the pickup group stuff and kind of want to be leaning towards, like a 5 comp, a 5-person comp, like that knows what they're doing. And so it's kind of like that at that point. I guess it's like a balance there. But
All right, cool. Well, I mean, it sounds like it's still interesting and it's still keeping you engaged, which is what you can ask for in an MMO, really.
I love playing Saturday morning cartoons 5 days a week.
Right on. All right. Anything else that you put a lot of time into?
No, not really.
All right. Blandy, what have you been playing other than Team Fortress?
Well, as always, Team Fortress. I've also been playing some more Plants vs. Zombies. Decided to go back to that for a bit. But it's
They
basically
patching that? I feel like I heard of like a bunch of extra maps or something like that.
Oh yeah. They just keep giving out free DLC.
I would say that you play more Plants vs. Zombies than any other video game podcaster on the internet.
It's a good game,
I
guys.
hear a lot of good things about it. In his defense, and the little I played of it, it is a lot better than any Plants vs. Zombies game has any business to be.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right. Anything else?
Well, like the stuff from the Steam sale, I took a gander at Surgeon Simulator, Goat Simulator, and Octodad.
Yeah, you guys are all kicking my butt in achievements on Goat Simulator. I just kind of dick around. Like, that's what I do when I play that game. And,
That's what that game is built to do.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I got 4 achievements. I don't know how I got them. I probably couldn't get them again.
I feel like a large chunk of that game is roll of the dice too. It's like I just hit this truck in just the right position and happened to latch my tongue on this protester and threw him into a fan, and now I got 3 achievements.
Right, yeah. It is a
Like,
different
that is
kind
how
of
that
game.
game rolls.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. I do have to say it's about what I expected. You're a goat.
It's a
you know,
stupid fucking game.
it's a
It
really
is-
stupid game.
I mean, the game wasn't even supposed to be released. This was from pressure. They showed it at some game, like fucking Jam or something like that, and everyone's like, you have to make this. Like, you have to release this for other people to play. So this game was not made for commercial release. And, like, they've just started patching it, and they actually started putting some time in development. Like, the game initially was just that first area. Now there's a bunch of extra areas. And I have some news related to Goat Simulator for later on.
Okay.
But the game just kind of keeps kind of chugging along. And it's just it's a curiosity. It's, the thing is $10 normally, which is a pretty low barrier for entry.
I honestly feel like this is the kind of game that gets that kind of following to it that you don't understand why or how. But I believe that this. I honestly believe
it's not
that.
going to be around for long, though. It's, everyone's going to have fun, and then everyone's
Right.
going to forget about it when the new weird fucking bullshit is out.
Right, but I think
feel like
it's having its 15 minutes currently, and it's gonna
Surgeon
be.
Simulator was the same way. It was a stupid fucking
Yeah.
weird game that everyone had a lot of fun. Not to demean these games. Like, I think they all have value of I'm kind of hungover and I'm going to sit on my couch and play a stupid fucking game for an hour or two. Like, these games are fantastic for that because you don't have to think. It's just kind of like, oh, look at this weird physics toy.
Right.
I made
Like
a
Katamari.
fucking roller coaster and there was someone riding on my back and Dead Mouse music was playing. Like, that is, sometimes I'm in the mood to play one of those games.
Sure. Yeah. Doing a bicycle's pretty hard. That's. I'm not
I
a
didn't
huge
try
fan of
that. I like fell over immediately. I'm like, nope.
No,
All right, Ryan. Anything else that you've played?
no, that's it.
All right. That brings us to Senior Hayes. I know you're really excited to talk to us about a game. Let's
All
hear
right,
it.
yeah. Well, I played some other stuff. First thing I want to talk about is Wasteland 2. I backed the Kickstarter a while ago, and it is now in early access. For those of you who don't know, Wasteland was kind of the predecessor to Fallout. The original Fallouts of kind of these survival RPG kind of games.
Almost
The origi-
turn-based hex
Yeah.
movement thing. Yeah.
And the original Fallouts are a lot of fun. They definitely show their age, but they're a lot of fun.
I honestly think that Skyrim has a lot in common with the original Fallouts, or not Skyrim. Sorry, Shadowrun, the new Shadowrun game.
Yeah, see, I haven't played Shadowrun, but yeah, it's that style, like Jagged Alliance, like XCOM. You're kind of trying to keep these people alive and kind of keep a close knit team and level them up. But Wasteland 2 kind of went into early access, and I told myself I was going to play this game until it was actually fucking out, because I'm not a huge fan of early access, and I like to just play through games so I can play through them. But on a whim, I decided to fire up Wasteland 2 and kind of see what it was all about, and it's really fucking good. It is that same feeling I got when I played XCOM, the new XCOM, for the first time, where it was that just perfect mix of I've played this before and you've improved enough of the systems and made it more accessible so I don't have to sit here and figure out and die in the first like 3 battles 4 or 5 times before I know what's happening. The pacing is really good. It's, the systems are pretty easy to understand. They give you, a handful of good choices up front, kind of teaching you early on, like, look, man, like, this game is not a cakewalk. You kind of have to make hard decisions and then just kind of deal with the consequences. And it's setting it up to be a really, really interesting game. It's really expensive right now. I think it's like $60. I think that's a bit much for this game. Haven't played a ton of it. Maybe this game is on a much larger scale than I'm realizing. But if you like those kind of old school Fallout games, XCOM, Jagged Alliance, Wasteland 2 is worth looking at. I have a hard time recommending it at $60. Again, it's early access too, so I'm also not a huge fan. But I did the Kickstarter and I paid less than $20.
Well, you're on early access. Is it buggy? Does the game seem close to finished?
It's chugging a little bit, but I had everything cranked all the way up. I don't know. See, that's what I don't know. It seemed to kind of drop you into the fray right away. But Fallout also kind of did the same thing. It's kind of like, here's the universe you're in, here's a person, here's a conflict, get fucking to it.
Right.
Like, those games kind of unravel, so I wasn't sure if they're going to do some polish or what they're doing. The game seems pretty close to done. I feel like, there's some glitches and there's some bugs that obviously are going to get cleaned up. I feel the interface could use a little bit of a revision. It's kind of clunky. But the game itself and the story, seems pretty straightforward, what little I've played of it. I don't know, I feel like it's close to done. There's a lot of things I would like to see improved, and I'm curious to know how much they're going to do before they say, hey, this is open to everyone. Well, it is already open to everyone, but officially, this is the product we're standing behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe the reason I'm so reticent is because I don't think it's a $60 game right now. It has the potential to be. But yeah,
Well,
so
hopefully they
Wasteland
get
2 is
there,
something
yeah.
to keep an eye on if you like those old school games.
Sweet.
Also played some Spelunky and Dark Souls because I'm a masochist and those games are fun to me for some strange reason. Dark Souls is a game that probably a lot of people who are going to play it have played it, but just kind of chugging along with that game, and that is an infinitely rewarding game. And then I picked up Shovel Knight, which is a new 8-bit-esque platformer.
Okay.
It is where a lot of these new, like, oh, it's 8-bit or it's 16-bit, it's retro style. Shovel Knight is loyal in all the right ways. The music is chiptunes, but fantastically done. I've been humming the fucking Undead Burg or whatever the Halloween level is song for the past day or two. Like really catchy music. It feels great. The controls are super tight. The best way I heard it described is Shovel Knight feels the way you remember 8-bit games playing. Like it is kind of that idealized version of, yeah, Nintendo used to be awesome, and then you play a Nintendo game, you're like, this thing's kind of fucking slow and kind of sloppy and kind of blinky and glitchy. Like, Shovel Knight is the embodiment of that ideal fucking old school platformer. It's widescreen. It looks really good. It looks, the color palette, I would say, probably dips a little bit deeper than 8-bit color palette. Obviously, there's more colors on screen than you normally would. But as far as the gameplay, it takes very liberally from Mega Man, DuckTales, Zelda 2, Castlevania, Super Mario Brothers 3, like fucking all of the great games. It kind of picks and pulls kind of the best parts and puts their own spin on it. There's an overworld that's kind of like Super Mario Brothers 3. The bosses are very Castlevania-ish in their patterns and kind of how you have to approach them. You kind of have a downward stab, and you're kind of collecting loot a la DuckTales or Zelda 2. Like, it's a love letter to old school video games. If you have any reverence or still pick up your Nintendo or older systems, it is well worth looking into. Like I said, it's $15. I didn't technically pay full price because I had some leftover credit, but I think this game is easily worth $15. There seems to be a ton of content. I think it's supposed to clock in between 7 and 8 hours, which is actually pretty reasonable for an indie game in this day and age. Though...
And even for an old school game, I mean, for the era that they're going for, that's...
I mean, Castlevania, if you actually play through it and you know what the fuck you're doing, is like maybe 3 hours.
Right.
And those games are artificially hard. Something that's really interesting, some of the cool mechanics that Shovel Knight introduced is they kind of give you an option to make the game as easy or as hard as you want without selecting a setting. So there's kind of, optional purchasable power-ups like, extra health or extra magic and, kind of your normal progression that you can kind of avoid if you don't want to, or you want to do a, 3 hit point run or whatever it is. But probably the coolest mechanic they have is they introduce checkpoints to the levels, because the levels are of a decent size. There's about 4 checkpoints a level. And you have an option...
These levels are set up in like a world system, right?
Yeah, think like Super Mario Brothers 3,
right.
Kind of, overworld. Each level is kind of its own theme. Like one's a graveyard, one's a castle, one's a fucking submarine. But the checkpoints are interesting because you can destroy them to get more money. But when you destroy a checkpoint and you die, you would start over from the beginning. Or the last checkpoint you didn't destroy, presumably. And when you die, good chunk of your loot is floating in the world. In all the Dark Souls, you kind of have a corpse run where you have one chance to get the money that you lost last time you fell into a pit or fell on spikes or got butt raped by the Grim Reaper. But more often than not, if you fall into a pit, it becomes very difficult to recover that money because now it's hovering over a giant pit that you fell down last time, so do you really want to fucking risk it to get that money back? And the money is kind of what allows you to upgrade and kind of...
Is this an all or nothing kind of thing? Like
unlock. No, it's, I would say, 20%, maybe 10%.
Oh, okay.
It's relatively small, but that being said, the further you get into that game, you start dying quite a bit. It seemed, the bosses are all pretty difficult. I would say on par with Castlevania in that you kind of have to know what you're doing and you kind of have to fight this boss a handful of times before you learn the patterns. But some of the later levels, like, you're going to lose some cash, and that kind of forces you, you feel really wealthy and you feel like you got a lot of stuff, but by the time you get through a hard stretch of levels, you kind of have to make some decisions about where you want to upgrade your next, magic or hit points or unlocking new tools or whatever it is. So it's a really good game. It's something worth picking up if you're looking for, and I would say honestly, if you have a Wii U or 3DS, it might even be better on those systems. I picked it up on the PC because it was cheaper, but I feel like it lends itself to a Nintendo console really well.
How many buttons does it use? Can you
Two.
two? Okay.
You got jump and you got shovel.
All right. So I mean, if you have a USB NES controller, you should be good to go.
Like I said, it is a spiritual successor to an NES. You can play that game on an NES gamepad, and you would not miss anything.
Right.
Like, that game is built to play on the Nintendo. If they burned a fucking cart, I would probably pay $50 for a fucking cart of Shovel Knight if I could play this on a 8-bit Nintendo. Again, it's widescreen. The color palette's too big.
Right.
The sound quality is too high. But what I'm saying is, like, it feels almost teetering on that line of, I could totally play this on my fucking Nintendo.
I legitimately did not hear about this game at all, and then I saw that you bought it and then played it immediately and played it often. And I looked into it, and it looks interesting as hell.
It's really fucking good.
It scored 85 for a Metascore, which I don't know if anybody follows Metascores, but that's huge. Like,
pretty good.
yeah, there are very few games that break even 70. So
if you have any kind of reverence for old retro video games, it's a no-brainer. I mean, if you like Castlevania, if you like Super Ghouls and Ghosts,
right, yeah.
It's your cup of tea, and I highly recommend picking it up. And it's one of those games that I would say support these guys because I want them to make more fucking games. If it's anything, if this is their first game and it's any inkling of what these guys are capable of, I want to see more of this shit.
Well, you are going to. I mean, with the resurgence of retro, I think that, I mean...
And Shovel Knight's selling well. Like,
right.
People are buying this game. Like, I don't need to sell this game. This game is selling itself, but for those of you who don't know about it, check it out. It's a really good fucking time.
Cool. Anything else that you played?
Not really. No, I've been dicking around in my Sega Genesis collection. Played
Nice.
some Strider, because, I
Good choice.
don't know. Felt like it.
Yeah. No, I dig on Sega Genesis. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've played. One thing that the Steam sale does for me personally is it'll re-engage me in PC video gaming. So.
Remember all those games you bought last year, asshole?
Right. It's kind of like that. Like you'll see a game's on sale and you'll be like, hold on a second, I think I might have bought this already. And then you'll look at it and be like, yeah, I did buy that and never installed it. So I definitely played quite a bit more than I had been playing. and it's let me try to go through the main ones, I guess. So I tried out Saints Row 3 after never playing a Saints Row game. So I tried 3 because I don't know, online they said you should try 3 first, I guess. And it's pretty great. I can definitely see where everybody's coming from. It's a lot like GTA though, like a lot more like GTA than I thought it was going to be.
It went the other way though. GTA got serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Saints Row got insane.
Correct. Yeah. I also believe that the driving in Saints Row might be a little more intuitive than in GTA. I feel like I'd crash a lot more in GTA.
It's more arcadey, yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. It's definitely a good game. It's well done. I didn't get any glitches throughout the game.
Do you think it's funny?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, no. Like right now, I'm a dude rocking around in a gorilla suit with a space hat on.
You do make a lot of your own humor in that game.
Yeah.
I think some of the writing is kind of clever. I think 4 is maybe a little bit funnier.
4 is a lot more, like,
Irreverent.
I think a lot more, like, nerdy references in it that people get. Like, Saints Row 3 has a lot more, like, juvenile, like, crude humor in it, which
Still
a lot
no
of
bats.
it, yeah, I think some of it is still freaking hilarious, but
Some of it is. I mean, some of the gestures are pretty funny.
yeah.
The taunts and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And they add more in the 4th one that are even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Just look up You Old Sailor.
oh, okay.
You old sailor.
So yeah, Saints Row 3, I'm sure a lot of people have played it, so I don't really need to talk that much about it. We've already talked about Goat Simulator. I went back and played some more Heroes 6. I've already talked about that on the podcast, though. I definitely enjoy it. And
Magic.
what'd you say?
Might and Magic.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good
Those are
stuff.
good games. I played it a little bit years and years ago. I'm probably at 3. I think I played Heroes 3 maybe.
Sure. Yeah, if you have time to kill, I'd say that, turn-based strategy is definitely, it will sink your time into it. No game is fast enough when you
Yeah.
break it down into turns. It's just not. So it really is a young man's game when you think that time is, renewable.
Actually begins to have a dollar value.
Right. Yeah. And what else have I played? Oh, too much. I played too much is really what it comes down to. I played a lot of games. So the last one that I played was I bought Injustice and played a lot of Injustice.
How was that on the PC?
Good. It's
Yeah?
amazing on a gamepad. I can't, or on a stick, a joystick.
I almost bought that like 3 times. I saw you bought it, and I'm like, fuck, I should buy that game.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna buy it. Fuck, I should buy that
was that
game.
on
It's the
sale
complete
during the Steam
edition.
sale?
Yeah.
It was like $7.
Yeah.
Oh my
well worth
gosh, I
$7.
can't believe I missed that.
Yeah.
I see. The problem is I have it on the PS3, or excuse me, on the Wii U actually, and it's actually not bad on the Wii U.
That game is perfect on everything that I've played it with. Like I
With the Pro controller, it is very, very enjoyable.
so yeah, it looks super gorgeous. It's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about Injustice, but we've already talked about Injustice, of course.
It's a good game.
All right, so I'd like to talk a little bit about news if anybody has some. I kind of went over my news story earlier with the Steam sale, but
I got Goat Simulator news.
all right, let's hear some Goat Simulator news.
So, according to Polygon, Goat Simulator is coming out with a retail version, like a physical
What?
fucking disc copy.
What? How?
That
For PC?
Deep Silver is publishing a PC physical retail version.
Well, why would you even purchase the physical version?
You're the person to answer that question.
All right, we're getting to that. The quote is, Steam has always been our primary source of income, so retail version is nothing we planned. but we thought,
We're making money on it, so why not?
Yeah, we thought this
we
is
were
our
more
fucking
motivated
15
by the
minutes.
fact the physical box with the goat's face on it is pretty funny shit, so we decided to go for it. Quote, you should get the physical release so that you can buy two and wear one around your neck. So that's kind of how they're approaching it. I think they're just like, someone came to them and said, we're going to publish a physical copy, and they said, fuck it,
Yeah,
and
we,
now they're doing it.
we like money.
So it's stupid,
Fuck
but
it, we like money.
whatever. It's ridiculous. That game is becoming... If it means I get more content for Goat Simulator, like we talked about, they already added like extra levels and all this other shit, fine, fucking go for it. Great. I already own it, so go for it. And then the only other news I have is, I don't know if you guys watched any of the Games Done Quick Summer Edition, Summer Games Done Quick.
No, I tried to watch the Final Fantasy VI one, and then they were already playing the Ocarina of Time, so I missed it.
So for those who don't know, Games Done Quick is an organization of speedrunners. They get together about twice a year and raise money for charity. They'll do cancer benefits. They'll do like Child's Play. This year was Doctors Without Borders. They raised $716,000. I think their last one they raised just over $1 million. It's just a great fucking organization. They do, a week of 24-hour-a-day streaming of every fucking video game you've ever played and a ton that you haven't. And it's all these people in the speedrunning community kind of burning through these games. They'll do, glitch runs, which means you can kind of break the rules or go out of bounds. They'll do, 100% runs or all these other kind of different rules they set for themselves artificially. You can watch them beat Castlevania in 13 minutes, or you can watch, I think they beat Super Mario 3D World in 2 hours, like, new games, old games. I watched a lot of the Zelda block, but it's, everyone kind of throws them 10 or 15 bucks. They do, raffles throughout. It's just a really, really cool organization. And they do a lot of great charity work. And again, it's like twice a year. I usually put it on when I'm cleaning or other shit. It's great background music kind of all day, just people blowing through video games. So it's kind of a bummer that it's over now, and we didn't get to talk about it while it was going on. But keep your eye out for it, because it's something worth watching. It's a really cool series. And all the archives are online if you want to look for, what they were playing. They kind of break it up by, Ryan said Final Fantasy, Zelda, Mario games, some more indie games. But
Yeah, I did see some news stories about Super Mario. I guess they beat one of them in a new record time or something.
yeah, like 2 hours. And every once in a while they'll break like a world record, and it's kind of like the Iron Galaxies, kind of internal scorekeeping, but pretty legit. I think the one that I saw that was pretty fucking hilarious is Zelda: Link to the Past. I watch him beat in 2 minutes.
Wow.
It's pretty fucking crazy, and it's glitching. It's moving through walls and kind of advancing the game when it's not supposed to, but watching these people play the game so exhaustively to be able to do this is
Right, that level
fascinating in its own regard.
that level of muscle memory is just
Yeah, and these people are executing shit like 1 pixel at a time. Like, this is a 1 pixel move. I watched one guy glitch. I forget the actual number, but so Link to the Past is 60 frames a second, and he had to do 27. I think like 1/30th of a second tolerance actions in a row. So like he had to do this entire operation to like basically hover across this gap.
right.
It was just fucking insane, and it literally took him like 15 minutes to do this one trick, but it cuts out like 6 hours of the game. So fuck it, like that.
Right.
That is the kind of gameplay it is. Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Well, that's cool. And that's the level of competitiveness that's also, raising money for charity, which is cool.
Yeah, and it all goes to a great cause. Like, they're basically paying for their shitty hotel rooms. They all kind of pile into this, shitty hotel in Denver and then just throw all the money at a charity. So it's really neat.
Right on. All right, anybody else come up with any news, anything, any current events? Nope. All right, that's probably gonna finish the podcast. We went almost exactly an hour, so that's pretty perfect. All right, everyone. Well, this podcast is brought to you by Joel Hartlab, Ryan Blandy,
I have an Aquafina splash sensation.
Ryan Hayes,
I'm going to go play more Shovel Knight.
and myself. Have an excellent evening.